Happy Tariff Eve, everybody. What's going on? Everybody buying presents for everybody on Tariff Eve? Tariff Day, or whatever they call it, Liberation Day, or whatever, Trump's Liberation. I don't even know. You can see the little bit of sunlight shining through. Sun finally came out after 4 days of rain. Anyway, welcome to Tariff Eve. Got all these tariffs, Israel announcing that zero tariffs on anything from the United States so that they get, avoid any kind of reciprocal tariffs situation that might be in the works. So I guess we'll see what happens worldwide, what kind of chaos might instill. Trump set to speak tomorrow afternoon. Tesla deliveries probably going to come out tomorrow about 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Central, after the market's closed. I think that might be spicy since if you go try to look at any inventory on the Tesla app, there seems to be nothing at all that you can find when you look it up. No cars available. You can only order for some time in the future. Anyway, jobs report coming out on Friday also, so sounds like a spicy, fun week, right? What was looking like it might be benign might turn into something a little spicier. So, and of course, we'll do 30 minutes of your request after hitting a few of these topics and going through a few things in the market. So hold off your requests. And as always, channel members get priority when we get to that point in the show. So, kind of looking at everything, I guess we should start here. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. Presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining. Not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. And if you want somebody just to tell you what to do, which is not what I'm doing, if you want somebody just to tell you how to make money, hire and consult a financial advisor. That's what their job is. Me, I'm here to share some of the market and give you that one. And here we go. Happy Tariff Eve. Happy April Fool's Day. And I haven't really seen anything except the $1 million Subway sandwich. I mean, that's the only real hilarious joke. I guess I saw a report that Warren Buffett bought Tesla for $1 trillion, but that was, my son sent that to me. And this is what we got. 4 p.m. tomorrow, right at the market close. What's going to happen? It's interesting. He waits till the market's closed to do this. So, market roadmap's not. Channel members have stars. Market roadmap doesn't just get you in a Discord. So, YouTube controls the stars, not me. I can't even gift people channel memberships if I wanted to. So here you go. You have to subscribe to channel member. There's like a join button somewhere there that you have to click on when you go to the homepage of the channel. That'll get you the star. So 4 p.m. tomorrow. It should be interesting. Tariff Eve. What do I expect? Sell the rumor, buy the news. I think market's probably expecting doom and gloom, and it's probably not going to be that bad, and we might rally on from here. Hopefully, this is the end of it. Hopefully, it doesn't prolong and drag out even further. And then Thursday, unemployment claims, as always, ISM services right there. And then Friday, we get the jobs, unemployment claims, non-farm unemployment claims, or non-farm employment numbers. That's jobs. We'll see where the jobs are. Are they hourly? Are they hourly earnings? And we'll get the blah, 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 blah. We get those, like, are they U.S. born? Are they not U.S. born? Are they part-time jobs? Are they full-time jobs? For a number of months now, we've been giving up full-time jobs and replacing them with part-time jobs. Not exactly the most sustainable. Not exactly the most sustainable. And I know I have now, and this one's government. This one, unemployment claims is layoffs. This is monthly jobs report. We're talking about from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's where they talk about, all the things I just said, whether it's full-time jobs or part-time jobs, foreign-born or U.S.-born, and all that sort of stuff. So, let's see what happens there. We're expecting 137,000. The trend has been, I'll have to zoom it up. Trend has been trending down for the last couple months, a couple years really. Been trending down off that big spike we got. COVID kind of distorts this whole thing. But looking at it previously, when we bleed down in a trend, it tends to lead into a financial crisis of some sort. And we stabilize, we kind of rise for a little while, and then we bleed down again into another crisis. And there's the bleed down into a crisis, back up, arc over, bleed, just a job cycle. So we'll see what happens. Don't expect craziness. I mean, we don't usually get big crazy surprises on those numbers. Unemployment rate probably going to keep hanging. It did meet the ultimate low back here, 3.2, 3.2, 3.3, 4.5. We've been climbing a little bit. We're up to 4.1. And this doesn't count the 100 million people that don't work. That's just an absolute crazy number of people to me. There's 100 million working age adults in this country that don't work, don't participate in the labor force. They're not counted in the unemployment rate. They're just no counts. We don't count them for anything. They're just not participating in the workforce. So that's kind of a mind bender, if you will. Then on Friday, while the market's open, right there, Jerome Powell gonna speak. And he's speaking at it's an odd event. You haven't been here, you haven't seen me talk about this. It's the Society for Advanced Business Editing and Writing Annual Conference. So that doesn't exactly sound like some sort of economic forum to be speaking, but hey, there you go. Society for Advanced Business Editing and Writing Annual Conference. Sounds like an exciting, fun-filled conference right there. That's the week. There you go. That's what we got. So don't expect much off of the jobs, but I think we could see tariffs kind of provide some relaxation to the markets, take some worry out of the market. And then Tesla deliveries, I think, are going to surprise. The news out there is epically bearish on Tesla, and I think it's going to surprise. So you can make your bet if you want to fade me. Just go short. You can buy lots of this TSLS. You can buy TSLT is the 2x long. I think it's TSLD. Yeah, that's not the right one. TSL. Trying to remember what TSLQ. That's the other one. There's like several of them at this point. It's another 2x short. So if you want to fade me, I bought like 3,000 shares of TSLL. Looking for the pop. Why not options? Because I can liquidate these in the aftermarket tomorrow if I need to. Right here. E-Wagon. Educated Wild Donkey Guess. And E-Wagon that we might possibly see a 50-point rally. Maybe put it right into here. 50-point rally. Why would I say that? Check it out. Last time we reported. Right here. Right here. This was the day. Right here. This day. January 2nd. Right there. 5:30 p.m., which was after that candle closed. They reported vehicle deliveries for Q4 2024, and that's what we got right there. And then we actually got icing on the cake the next day before we took it all the way back. This may be a short-term opportunity. Quick pop. Surprise on the deliveries. I just think that people are extremely bearish. Yeah, TSLA is the one I bought. Bought this right here. So if we get a $50 pop, it's like a 20% upside on Tesla. Since this is 2x leverage, be careful on leverage. Carries a substantial risk of loss. That'll be 40% potential upside. So this could pop about $4. There, you may be like, well, I think I should play options. Be careful, you can lose all your money doing that. It's like playing with matches while you got gasoline all over you. You can burn up. Burn up. I like the chart pattern. Has a nice potential pop. 14 puts it right up in that zone. Right up in there. It's a beautiful potential bounce right there. Fits with the price pattern. Fits on Tesla's chart too. See that's a 618 potential bounce right there. Move up, retrace, potential bounce. If it's going to be bullish, we get to 16. That's just gravy on the cake right there. That'd be a 60% upside. Not saying that you should do it. I'm not saying it's right for you. I got a feeling. Don't get these often. It's one of those opportunities I think could pop. See, the Tesla's got the same 618 retrace. Potential, the potential here is up to that number even. That'd be wild, absolutely wild. Talking like 100-point upside. That's 40% upside. That'd be like 80% upside on TSLL. Holy bananas. 35%, that'd be 70%. I mean, whoo boy. Oh boy, oh boy. That could be a wild ride right there. So, there you go. Using the algos. So, anyway, lots of potential. We'll see what happens. See what happens. Let's see if this works. Does it work? Does it work? Oh, no. Won't work for me on this chat program. Oh. I'm not actually in YouTube. I'm in a third-party app. Anyway. Good potential. We'll see. So those deliveries come out after the market. So who knows what happens tomorrow, the next day. Talking about not Wednesday, but Thursday. The 3rd is the day that we might get the pop. Possibly up here, possibly up here, possibly. I'm just expecting 300. That's like $40, $50 upside. 300, 310, somewhere in that ballpark. We'll see what happens. You let me know what you think in the chat. If you like it, you don't like it. And like I said, if you don't like it, TSLQ, fade me. Buy this one. If you think I'm completely nuts, short it right there. Go big, go home. This one might wet the bed. Be careful. Alrighty. Moving on to the market. How do we make money? What's happening? What's cracking? What's crack-a-lacking? Today, turned green. As I said, Bitcoin was up. The market might close green. Dun, 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 dun. Guess what happened? Up 21. We were down 6 when I wrapped up this morning. I said Bitcoin was up at the open. Probably take S&P 500 green. That's exactly what we got. Beautiful potential. Only 2 candles off the lows. Doesn't really help us make much decision here yet. I like it. I like the potential so far. Not really breaking higher. Uptrend of lows. So far, so good. Probably should turn the algorithm off. We don't need to see all that. So that's what we got so far. This move up, retraced, held the 50, made an extension, retraced again. This looks a bit like a 1-2, 1-2. We could be lighting a fuse. This could be an explosive move. Setting up right here. Just saying. This looks like the kind of thing that I've seen before. We get a giant move up. Market's just waiting with bated breath. for what happens. Nasdaq, a little bit choppier, but still kind of setting up that 1-2-1-2 potential off the lows. Nothing really's got me like thinking that this might not work. Now Russell, on the other hand, this is a little different. Not so keen on this one. This one looks a little rougher here. A little rougher around the edges. Not, I mean, this was down on the mat here. Maybe we're only going to work on a rally up to this area right up in here. I'm not sure we can take this higher high. This one may stop right around this 2290 area on the next rally, while S&P 500 and Nasdaq are set to potentially go even higher to new highs, new all-time highs. Oil, I was really hoping to see this close above the roadmap line today on the daily, but rejecting. This opens up the potential to retrace before we can bust through. I do still expect more bullishness. 75 will be the next upside resistance, and then we get above that, and 80 is the upside, the near-term target right in here. 80 to 82. Get above 80, 82 area, 90, next stair step up, and then 105 above that. This is the big test right up in here around that 105 area. That's the 618 retrace of the entire drop from all the way back here in March of 22 to all the way down here in May of 23. And we've just been hanging out the lower end of this range. If we rally back up to the 618, that'll be the big test. Can we break through, or do we reject off and go even lower on oil? I don't know. But that's a big rally, though, going from 70 to 105. Be a big rally in oil right there. How would you take advantage of it? This would be one way. UCO, another way. Unleveraged like would be USO. And the USO has almost the same pricing as oil itself. Almost, not quite. It did go, this has a split in there, so messes with it, with that reverse split because of the going negative during COVID times. It really messes with that USO. This just kind of been in a giant watermelon seed squeeze. When you do, think about it, when you squeeze a watermelon, never know where it's going. So this one, when you squeeze it down real tight like this, you never know if it's going to pop or drop. Can't be certain. Can't be certain looking at that chart. So it's kind of the opportunity or the risk, if you will. Downside, if we just reject off here and break on back down, there's the targets on the downside. Somewhere in the low 60s, and then possibly all the way down to 50 right there. If it just falls out of bed. Those are not positive. These are not positive signs for drill, baby, drill. Companies can't afford to drill with low oil prices. They need higher oil prices to do the drill, baby, drill thing. 80 is like the make or break for a lot of drilling projects. They need $80 oil to afford to do the drill, baby, drill thing. But that's not good for consumers. So it's like a catch-22 between Trump saying, oh, we're going to make it cheaper for people to drill. And the people that want to take the risk to drill are like, well, we need higher prices to be able to even afford to get in the game. It's expensive to drill like a 3-mile long well down under the ground. Directional drill and fracking and all the things you got to do. Look at the European crude. Testing into the roadmap line. Just the same. This one's a little more advanced. We made the lower low right here. We did not do that. This is the lowest low right there. We did not do that on CL, which is West Texas Intermediate. This is European crude right here. Lowest low right there. When they talk about oil had the lowest low in years, they were talking about European oil right there, Brent. Because CL did not go. West Texas Intermediate U.S. delivered oil has the low right back here in May of 23, and we did not even get close to making a lower low. So don't get too wrapped up in mainstream media stories. They're talking about European oil, not U.S. oil. And look at gasoline go. Gasoline's probably going for the target right there. Now, how could gasoline be breaking out while oil is not? That's a good question, right? It's because they're only loosely correlated. most people think, well, if oil's going down, gasoline has to go down too, but that's not the way this works. Gasoline is a distillate product, distillate product. And most of the gasoline is actually derived from Middle East oil. Most of our refineries here in the United States are set up for Middle Eastern oil. It's a sour crude. Most of the crude that we produce here in the United States is sweet crude, and we actually export that for high dollars and ship it to other places that can refine it. We don't have the refinery capacity here in the United States to refine our own oil. Crazy enough. We rely on Middle East oil. So if a hot war broke out in the Middle East, gasoline could be up here very quickly. Heating oil, also known as diesel fuel. This one's closer to, looks a lot closer to the oil chart right there, right? Coming up below, coming up from the bottom. Hasn't broken out, hasn't indicated we're going higher, but this one can catch up very quickly. This is the first time in a lot of years I can remember that diesel fuel is lagging gasoline right here. You can say summer blend all you want. It has nothing to do with nothing. Nothing to do with nothing. And we are at the peak, seasonality-wise, right there. We do peak here. We trough down here at the end of the year. It's just a seasonality-wise, too. But look at... We also have a peak and a trough on diesel. This is trending down over time. Look at that. Kind of wild. Natural gas also has a seasonality to it, and we're expecting a low right here around this March, April timeframe. I'm showing it on the next year because you can't hardly put the thing right there and still see it. You know, somewhere around March, April, May, we usually get a seasonality-wise drop. This may have been the pop. It could come a little higher. That's the resistance right there right now, 447, and we could just drop on down right here, roadmap line. If we break on through, somewhere down here in the 260 to 280 zone would be where I expect it to bottom out in this April to May time frame, right there. And ways to play that, you got boil. This is ultra long, and you got cold, which is an ultra short. So if we're going to drop, this might actually pop. And you've got UNG as another long fund right there. So different ways to play. Gold might have hit the top. Still expect probably a touch near 3,200. We got really close. That could be close enough. 3,200. These are zones. These are not definitive lines. They're zones, plus or minus 5 or 10%. So that technically probably was close enough right there. Might get into a retrace, but this has been a heck of a move off of these lows. Heck of a move indeed. So potentially done on this little 5-way push right there off of this low, this pullback right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Potentially done. So can't say with any high probability that we'll get any more extension there. And this looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a 5 of a 5. Might be done for now. Might be done. We might give back up some of this. Could do a retrace. Could be all the way back down to the roadmap line, back around 2,800. We could extend it even higher. It's entirely possible. Nothing's very clear on gold right now. We've hit those upside targets. When we were doing this consolidation, I was like, we're going to rally up to that 31. I think it was 31.40 at least. I was looking for 31.20 maybe. And we got it in spades. There you go. It's not magic, just math. Now, bigger picture. Off of that consolidation, you know, we don't have to retrace all the way down there. We could extend it on up to 35, 36, somewhere in there. The bigger opportunity, though, is on the next chart. Down in the silver, right here. Potentially working on this breakout. Look at the 3-day right here. We are trying to break through that 618 level. If and when we finally do it, right in here, around 36, this can lead to a massive catch-up. 55, 60, possibly even up to 75. Holy bananas. That would be a wild ride, wouldn't it? Wild ride right there. Yeah, let's go silver. I know Sergio. I just haven't. I'm not like we're not doing it yet. We're not getting above the level. Holding resistance. You can see this was key resistance right over here. Look at this. Resistance all the way. Years ago. Years ago. Right in there. Back in 2012. Over a decade ago. Now right here we are testing it again. And if we bust through, be looking at potential giant upside right there. Beautiful potential. This may be the trade of the trade of the next 3 to 5 years. I don't know. Could take a little while. I mean, this is taking how long this is taking to get through here. And we could do a little cup and handle thing too. Like we could get up here, do a little handle before we actually break on up. Entirely possible. Alrighty. Looking at copper. Copper has gone decidedly bullish. The big picture setup looked bearish to me, but hard to argue against that. It's going higher. That's very choppy and overlapping, but this might be just a nested setup here. Could be a 1-2, 1-2, and we could get an explosive upside move potentially. Kind of wild. Be looking for a 660 move on the next stretch right up in there. If it's going to work. Now, ways to play, that's where it gets a little sketchier. This FCX, not exactly looking very strong right here. This chart looks like it wants to go down. This is everybody's kind of favorite way to play copper. Or a lot of people's favorite way. SCC. Oh, there it is at the bottom. There's another way, and this one doesn't look very bullish either. So despite copper having crazy high big potential, this still looks like it wants to go down here. Not exactly the bangingest opportunity playing the metal there. All right, so Bitcoin. Let's jump over to the spot. We got 2 green days in a row. Can we make it a third? And for those of you who've been around a while, you'll remember me watching for 3 green days in a row on Bitcoin. That also confirms on the Ethereum charts. When we see both of these get 3 green days in a row together, that typically kicks off a larger upside move. Typically. It doesn't always happen. You can see back a couple weeks ago, we got 3 green days in a row on Ethereum, but we didn't on Bitcoin, and it led to a sell-off. 3 green days on both Bitcoin and Ethereum together, 95% of the time, typically leads to about a 2-week continuation higher, 2 to 4 weeks. You know, they've lasted as long as 4 weeks, and typically it's about 2 weeks. Some of them can only last a couple days, but about 2 weeks is what I would expect based on watching this for years now. 3 green days on both charts typically leads to a bigger upside. I'd love to see it. Love to see it. I don't know about you. You know, all the things I have coded up, you'd think I'd code that up, but takes doing a little extra finagling, I guess, to get both those datas into one chart and then fire off the alert. This one not looking so hot though. That's the, I mean, golly, sit at the lows. Warning here, if we break down below 1500, this is probably heading on down to triple digits. That's in a very dangerous position here on Ethereum. So 1500 comes from that low right over there. We take a trip down below that, probably going down lower low than we had right down here in June of 22. And the Bitcoin market dipped and made its bottom in November of 22, but this one had already moved up and retraced and was on a different path. Now, the problem here is that this one stopped at a much lower high. And this all looks kind of corrective. Like this was the first move down, this was the retrace, and this could potentially be the next flush down. That's why I warn that we might get below that triple digit low from right there in June of 22. While Bitcoin, you look, it's markedly different on the charts. We're set up here, still in the vicinity of all-time highs. We're, the warning sign here is if we break down below this high from back here. Oh, sorry, this high from back here in March of 24, a year ago. And then the confirmation is I'll break below that high from back in November 21 when we peaked out on the last halving. So that'll be it's like the double layers of confirmation right there. Get below that, we're in crypto winter. Probably coming down in the $30,000 to $40,000 area for the next crypto winter bottom. I expect us to go on up to the 50 to 60, 70,000 area. 50, this area right up in here. I expect us to go up there by October. If we can break on out. And then we'll set up the bigger drop into crypto winter in 26, maybe 27. Looking for a bottom somewhere in there. Since we bottomed late 22, add 4 years, that'd be late 26. Mid to late 26 is probably when we'll bottom out in Bitcoin. So if you want to ride the wave, we hit 150,000. It might be a great place to add your protection for the downside. And then figure out where you're going to liquidate on the way down. Catch it back at 40,000. It's probably going to do it. It's done it every 4 years. No reason to believe this is going to be different. I don't care. Y'all can argue with me all you want. If you wanted to argue with Bitcoin, this time's different. We have government support, blah, 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 blah. Nothing's different. Nothing's different this time. Not going to be different. So anyway, we're to that point of the show where if you are a channel member, if you don't know how to be a channel member, click the join button that shows up. Be a member of the channel. Support me and my family further on all the effort I do on YouTube. YouTube content is separate from all the other things I sell. And just throwing that out there. So I give priority to channel members. Type in all caps your request. I'll check out your chart. Give you a quick analysis. If I find something interesting, it'll be a longer analysis. And subscribers, you can request too, but I'll hit all the channel members first and circle back around and pick up the subscribers. So ready, set, go. If you have questions about anything, use a complete sentence. Remember, I lag behind quite a bit on the chat since I'm trying to pick up the tickers and go in order. And Carvana, sitting here, I liquidated down here because I thought we would retrace at least back to the 618 level right here. That's the current resistance at 240. Downside potential down around 120 right now. And if we break through that 240 area, we're looking at 310 on the upside. If we're going to get continuation, so that's a big resistance. That's continuation. If we reject off of it, the potential to come down here. That's kind of the roadmap there. Now we are holding the roadmap line right in there, and that can be a positive sign that we're going to try to bust through that resistance right there, 240. All right, next up, BKTX. Down to the target. What I expect next, further downside, 15, possibly even -3 maybe. And 14, down, next downside, target. If we're going to keep being soft, maybe even down to 850. I don't think it's done yet. Got no reason to believe that's done. Be careful. That may whack you. EPR. Watch out for a return to the roadmap line right there around 47.48 on support. As far as extensions go, if it was going to extend, that looks like a 5-wave down, but if it's going to extend, maybe up to 55 for further resistance right there. It's possible it backtested the breakout, and we're going to go up to 55. Watch that. Because very unlikely we're going to climb even further to like 60, 63. Possible, but very unlikely. This level is 70% likely to get hit. This is 35% likely to get hit without coming back to the roadmap line, that is. This one drops on down, like 20, less than 10. We drop way on down to less than 1% of moves, we'll just go ripping all the way up to the 686 before retracing. Happens, but not very often. And next one, Marvel. Chips Not Superheroes, working on that 618 retrace. Looking forward. I want to see that hit about 57 and then bounce, because that opens up the potential for this giant move right there. Boom. Let's call it 300. Potential to get 474, but let's call it 300. So that's a 5x potential right there. If we can hold that 57 level and then break through the daily roadmap line and get the upside going. That'd be a 5xer right there. I like these kind of opportunities. These are the ones I hunt for in the market. Other ones, you know, in case you asked, other ones that are like this. MU, nice giant potential upside. QCOM, as long as we're holding support, have the same kind of giant upside potential cooking in here. So I'm hopeful. Another one. Guess who? Another nice giant potential. Look, this one's a 10xer. Yeah, price right there. Look at that price right there. It's 10x, baby. Now, do you go big on these? No, I don't go big. I bought a couple hundred shares. I mean, doesn't take many of these. If you kind of equal risk them, doesn't take many of these big 10xers to make up for any of them that don't work. Like, here's one that I was really, really hoping was going to work. It's kind of let me down. Oh, wrong. Clicked the wrong button. This one right here, I thought was going to bounce. Came up, hit the resistance. Right there, the gap down, and rolled back down. Now we're back at the break-even point. I haven't liquidated it. Still not sure. And we've seen that happen before. It happened on this one too. Bud over here. This, when we had all that, you know, bad marketing, we came down and hit the 618, held, made a slight lower low, still held, started taking off. I was like, all right, we're gonna make some money. Then we retraced. I was like, uh-oh, that's not good. Then it did it again, and the third time was I was out. Again, not playing around this time. And then we made a lower low, much lower, right there. And that's not even on bad marketing this time. Like, that just, ugh, nasty. Coming back up, but lost me as a faithful when we broke down below the uptrend of lows there. I'm not sure this is done at this point yet. May need to make another low somewhere down in here. So sometimes they get wrecked, and you know, you got to give up. I did make a few bucks. Not really, wasn't the banging huge profit I was hoping for, but Nike still hunting the bottom. I've got my alert down here at 62. Just waiting. Almost there. Waiting. If we can hit that and set up a reversal, that'd be really nice, but I don't know. Look at the bigger picture. That's the COVID low. If we get below that, though, not looking too good for the Nike team here. I mean, it's been on a years and years long uptrend, and that could be on a deep downtrend back into this. We could come back to this kind of number over here. Entirely possible if we break on down. That'd be pretty rough. Careful on that one. All right. Love it when I skip the chat. Lots of the requests. And SNPS. Some of you may get confused by the time frame. It's I look at whatever time frame shows me the story that I need to see to tell you what I expect it to do. S&PS, that's kind of looking like we might retrace back to this consolidation. First move down, retrace 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could put it right down in here somewhere. In the say 290 to 360 area, big fat area, but it consolidated there for, gosh, almost 2 years. Let's see, I need the 3-point tool, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to get at least down to this area right there. Somewhere in the 360 to 390 area. Wouldn't surprise me at all to retest that box. Yeah, moving on. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, EPR probably didn't chart right, so don't really care though. BLW. Bum, 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 bum. Not a lot of requests today. If these are high dividend payers, they may not chart right, and I'm not adjusting the chart or anything. That's not the point of Tuesday's 30 minutes of awesome. But high dividend payers, you should adjust the chart for when they've got high dividends, like 8, 9, 10%. Usually you got to click this button to get an accurate picture of what's going on. So right there, that pullback coming up to an extension, it might be able to extend it on up to 15.30, but this chart does adjust as it goes, so it won't be 15.30 as it pays dividends. This will kind of meet in the middle somewhere up here around 15, possibly. So there you go. When you look at it this way, don't look so hot. Don't look so hot. Looks like that's bleeding off, right? Because all these dividends keep stacking up at almost 10%. All right. VSCS. VSCS. Right. I don't get anything for VSCS. Sorry. There, Jason. Digger. BA. Dun, 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 dun. As identified earlier in the week, I think it was. Looking for support right there. We got really close. That next move on the potential upside, somewhere in the 215 area. And if it's really spicy, might see. Oh, that was cool. Might see up in the 245 area. Right there. That'll be a measured bounce right there. Boom. Hold. Boom. This is a measured bounce over here. So it's like a stacked measured bounce. Can be a powerful move right there. 1, 2, 1, 2. So looking for that to pop off right there. All right. That is the end of the channel, members. So, oh, sorry, VSCO. There you go. Victoria's Secret Online. Victoria's Secret Company Online. And that's a potential 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking for a 5. Lower low would be kind of what I expected to happen there. Then we'll have to see if that's the lowest low or if they can recover, because that was a 3 up and extension lower. Potentially puts this down where I've got the arrow here. It's funny that correction back here and this bigger correction here both line up with the same target down around $9. You know, the digger gonna have to buy the missus a whole bunch of lingerie to get this one to go up. Alrighty. Circling back around, catch the rest of the requests. XLF. I really prefer, I personally prefer the FAS, the leverage version. That turned down right at the 618, hanging out right here underneath, above the roadmap line. If we can break above, that's a positive sign. If we break down, get below this roadmap line and this prior low, probably coming on down. How low would she go? That's a good question. bias bullish, but that could break on down. Golly. Man, look at that recovery off that. When that bank blew out back here, Silicon Valley Bank, it kicked off that rally right there. Looks like a 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's the nested 1, 2, 1, 2. It's that potential I was talking about. That one way exceeded any expectation I would have. Wow. Dynamite. Ultimately, we could be looking at a move up to this area, 70, possibly even up to 90 on XLF. I like this one a little better. Responds a little nicer. Bigger upside potential here. Already got the move up, rejection off 618, rejection off 618, slight move up. It's primed. Primed. Prime for a move up to like 198 right there. FAS. Alrighty. BCE. 500 BCE. Looks like we've got upside resistance and downside support. Nothing changed from the last time I did that. And MTDR. Is that Matador? Yeah. Matador. Looks like we're working on a correction here. First move down. 3-wave retrace. Next move down. Let's update the chart to accurately reflect where I think we're going. First move down. Here's the retrace. Lower high. Next move down. Somewhere in the 35 to 41 area. Right in here. Not super lower, but lower nonetheless. That's about a 20% downside. That's what that looks like right there. That it could go deeper. It could definitely come on down to 30. So that looks like it's nested up, coming down. Right there on Matador. Snow, still hunting the bottom. Look for the 618 retrace, back down to 134. Could we be done here at the 50% retrace? Sure, possible. I would like to see that a little bit deeper. We've come all this way. Nice 1, 2, 3. You shoot down there, be beautiful. Then reverse, break through the downtrend highs, and set it up to get the bigger rally. Now, this is one that I'm kind of liking, kind of banking on, but it could let me down at the same time. It could let me down. So I'm cautious being too overly optimistic. This could extend down right in that zone, 125 to 134. Basically 125 to 135. That zone right there would be the perfect place to bounce. Potentially set up this move to 350. But if we break on down, the line in the sand is 120. If we get below 120, might make lower lows down in the 90s, somewhere down in here. That's still entirely possible to see that kind of get wrecked. So Marvell. There's another one. Set up a potential measure bounce. I think I talked about that one already. Bigger upside potential right there. And CMG. Another one with a similar kind of potential bounce right here. If we do this, potential bounce to up here, and then potential to come back down. A little bit different pattern, but very similar. That's a Pacheco right up in that 110 area. It's a double. It's not that big upside, like 5x, 10x. It's Shopify. It's still hunting a bottom. Looks like we may. There's the distinct possibility this gets the third move down. Made the first move down, the retrace. Next move down could come down here. It's distinct possibility. We basically tied for the low. See, the low was 95.29 and 95.48. No, that wasn't right. Low was 89.10. Reading the wrong one. 89.10 and 89.24. Yeah, so 14 cents higher. That could easily flush down here. 77. Now, big picture, I think this is a stock that's probably going to make higher high. We've come all this way up off this low. These nice pullbacks. I think we're probably going to get an extension. It's probably going to be somewhere up in this zone. If not, on up in this zone. But we got a while. That could be a 5Xer right there. Another way is nice 5X potentials. That's not the same. This is off of this low over here, which would have been a really great buying opportunity. But we didn't buy back there. We're buying up here. So then we have nice upside potential. How do you know if we're wrong? We start breaking down below this low, which is way on down there, and this low, and then we're going down. That's Shopify for you. BA already hit it. Celsius. It's one of those, another one of those opportunities where I see potential. I bought this looking for this pop up into this 52 area. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Beautiful upside potential. And this one back here was also went a little deep. I wanted to see it hold up here. But this also has a bigger upside potential to rally up here. I bought shares back here. I think it was back here before this dip. Held on to them right there. Now we're positive. We can break out. Short term 52. May see a retrace, retest the roadmap line before we can pop on up. This could have much larger upside. Sorry about the train. I just keep blowing. So I assume everybody can hear the train. I can hear it very loud. It's like 2 blocks away. So looking for that. Maybe even this up here. It'd be a wild ride from, I don't even remember what we bought in at 20 to 575. That'd be a pretty smoking trade, right? That's the kind of opportunity I like to buy long term. That's a 2000. That's a 20xer right there. 20xer. That'd be a pretty nice. That'd be a pretty sweet trade to ride, even from the current price. Like say you didn't get in with me a couple weeks ago, probably a couple months ago at this point, back in November. Still 1,500% potential upside from where we are now. So you missed out on a 500% or so. But hey, what's 500% among friends, right? That's a pretty nice upside potential. I like it. I'm long shares. Why not options? Because I think it's going to take longer than any. I think it's going to take longer than 27. The options chain. Yeah, it only goes up to January on this ticker. I think it's going to take longer than that. So if you're buying that, I don't know. You may run out of time before we get the pattern. This could go faster. I mean, it could happen really ridiculously fast, and I'd be like, holy bananas, that was crazy. I mean, we've seen fast moves on Celsius before, more than once. See what happens. All right, ANET still hadn't looked very good. Might be going for the second target. That's a distinct possibility. If we don't reverse here, it's a very, very real possibility we get this bubble right here. Down around the 67 area. Right there. Yeah, I have no exposure, no nothing. Not really. No skin in the game on that one, but I think we're going lower. Be careful. Oklo. And making a lower low is not the thing we want to be seeing right here. didn't even get up to this. That can accelerate down very quickly. So if that's it for the rally, it could be heading down here. And that low, that high. Yep, that all corresponds. 13. Just reaffirm. That's where I would expect it to retrace to. Jets. Benny and the Jets. Well, that worked out after a while. Didn't work out immediately, but it worked out after a while. Finally hit it. Lots of chaos in that. Bigger term, bigger picture. Wow. And yep, that's what I thought. Yeah, I would my educated wild guess. So when I say EWAG, I'm talking about it's the initials. Where's the drawing tool right there? Talking about EWAG. Type in capitals. And it stands for E is for educated. Educated. Oops. I'll move this around so you can see it. So I say EWAG. That's what I'm talking about. You can Google that. It's a very technical term for engineers. Make EWAG on your engineering design. Anyway, this would be my EWAG right here. Not high probability, but enough to be dangerous. $14 downside. Be careful on that one. QCOM. I already showed that off. Upside potential. It's got support here, resistance here. If we can do the bounce, that would be it. But and as long as we're in support and resistance, sideways is what I expect. So near term, more of that. And that's the breakout. And down here is the breakdown. And here's the downside if it breaks down. To go with the upside if we break out. Kind of a coin flip at this point until we do something. Sorry, I don't have better news. It's complaining about. Tell the chart to clean itself up. IONQ. Looks like we have more downside to go. Sitting here right at the roadmap line underneath. Give it downward pressure. It would not surprise me to see a 1380 handle on IONQ. NEM. I gave up on this completely yesterday. Gold, rocking and rolling. This one, not rocking and rolling. Sitting here at the 618. I don't even think of that 618 in the right spot. It is not. There, right at the 618. What I thought. My other chart. I did not like that right there. So I bailed. Looks like we're going to break down. I compare that to this one that's rocking and rolling all-time highs. And this chart that is also just consolidating in a sloppy manner. It's crazy when you look at GDX, and you come down here and we look at the futures market's back open again. More about the fun. Come down here and look at the top holdings. We have new NEM top holding AEM right behind it, almost equal weighted. So AEM is kind of holding the mustard here. WPM coming in next. Gold. So these two holdings right here, sucking it up. This one's kind of holding up the ship here. When we look at WPM right there, and there's all the other ones: FNV, GFI, AU, KGC. So if you want to know what gold things to go look at, there you go. That's the gold miners. They're getting this thing to all-time highs. So AU, Shante Gold pushing it up. Already pulling a blank on the other tickers. That's how fast they come and go out of my brain. More about the fun. Roll down. Let's say WPM and FNV. And WPM, and that's definitely putting that upward pressure on GDX. And then FNV, there's more trying to be upward pressure. That one could break out right there. Looks like just sideways though. That's a lot of resistance. Like 1 high, 2 high, 3 high, 4 high. This will be a 5th high. Not very likely to break out, but it could. Just not very likely to go much of anywhere. It's been sideways for 5 years. Anyway, that's the shape of, that's the AEM was the big winner. I was kind of betting on NEM to catch up, but fell short at the 618 of this big move. Yeah, this is why I bailed. We rejected it to 618 here, came up here and stopped cold. I was out. That was my opportunity to make money back. Probably coming down here before we do anything. Then maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Not highly confident that we're doing that anymore. This is starting to be a big hot mess. Very nasty. Yeah. I gave up on it. Moving on. So, Chewy. Sit on the roadmap line. Potential to do that move up to 47.50. Right there. Gin pack. Looks like we want to retrace back to the roadmap line right there. So I think somewhere around 46 probably. Let's see, CMCO. Ooh, that's making a move lower. Where's the bottom? Unfortunately, it broke through the uptrend of lows. That can lead it to a move down to 7. Possibly even down to low single digits. That's a rough one right there. Danger, danger, danger. There's your warning sign with standardized started turning negative. I don't know. That's a rough chart. Rough one. Cold already did. Oracle. There's the support. Those prior highs. We'll break below it. Probably go on down. If we can bounce here, we've got resistance at the roadmap line and the 618 zone and these prior highs before we go higher. It's a lot of upside resistance at this point, 208. I probably expect it to come down here more easily than it can go higher at this point. If it can come down there and find support at those highs, looks better for going up, but that's what we got cooking right now. Not a lot. Now, downside, if we break down below those highs, potential to come back to the COVID low. We'll probably have a little potential support right in here, but it has potential to come all the way down to the COVID low. What goes up can possibly come down. This looks like a three-wave up too. That's what's so dangerous about this current move. And we stopped right at a kind of corrective high, even though it was an all-time high. That's be careful. See a bigger retrace on Oracle. And the XYZ, this has been one of those danger resistance there at the 618, and if we bounce down off of it, and kind of just if we bounce off of where we did, potential to come down to 15. Resistance right now is in this zone right here up to about 61. If we get through the 61, the upside would be 91 and 95, which is not even, I mean, that's barely scraping back at the all-time high right over there. I remember when this thing first popped on the market, I was like, be careful. And I still say be really careful on this one, because when you look at like that net asset value, it's like 10% or something like that. Like, this is the net asset value. It's like right down here. I guess it's still a third. This is one of those dangerous tickers. People playing it for hype, but a dangerous one. My book. You don't even report the net asset value on here. You'd have to go look it up. Yeah, be careful on that one. AVGO let me down, broke down, cruised on down to the next level. Maybe we find support here, but it's entirely possible this goes breaking down below this and sets up the bigger drop here. I am no longer long AVGO. Resistance right now. See, that fib line doesn't make any sense right there, so it looks like we're going to push it on lower. Something like that would probably make more sense. And that's quite a bit lower. And that's not even doing any kind of fib math. That's just pulling the fib down to where it looks like it makes the most sense. Why there? Because these highs right back over here and that consolidation right there on top of it makes sense for that level to be right there. Now it could stop where we are and turn and burn higher, break through, go on up. The upside target. Oop, the wrong thing. Always love it when that happens. Upside target right now, 267, 282. If we pull on down, it'd be up there, 280 to 308. I don't know. You tell me, what do you think it's going to do? Looks like downside potential. MSTR held the roadmap line. We're pretty good. Potentially bouncing back off of the downtrend of highs. That's a beautiful potential sign right there. The next thing we need to see is a break above that prior high right there from a couple, few days back, last week maybe. What day was that? I think it was last Tuesday, right? 25th. Calendar. Yeah, March 25th. Yep. Last week ago. Break back above that high from a week ago. Set your alert right there. If we do that, bullish, baby. Probably going back to, I would expect this to come back to at least to the prior high. Good potential sign on Bitcoin. Getting potential continuation. Cross my fingers. Love to see it. I'd love to see it. And then the potential bigger upside is to 1,000. There, you'd be like, well, that's full of crap. We'll see. Doesn't have to be. You were in that vicinity, 900 to 1,000. That's MSTR for you, FLGT. Now, crypto could fail. That's the big question mark. And this is, gosh, everything but a reverse split. Looking like a dumpster fire. Can't get out of its own way. Looks like we're going to keep heading down. I mean, that's the trend, right? I mean, like, where would it hold support? There's no, for years now, it's just been grinding down. There's no reason I think that it's going to hold support here. It's at the 618, but shoot, man. Could come on down pretty easy. At least back to that low at single digits. 9, 10 bucks, 8, 7, 8, 9 bucks. If it was going to break out, and there's not clear, such a drastic down. Got to see it get above the roadmap line. Got to see it break above that roadmap line, which is coming down at a quick pace. Break above, retest, break back above, get a higher high, maybe get a 5 up, then a 3-wave retrace, back to something else maybe, and then we could turn bullish. But right now, this looks like we're just gonna keep grinding down into the abyss. LRCX. I mean, unless you just really gotta trade something. When these charts are nasty, or I'm like sitting there like, oh man, just stay away from that stuff. Lamb Research broke down. Red flag on the play. That can go down pretty swiftly. I mean, I'm not always right, but it's a red caution light right there. On that move right there. That can lead to oopsie. There. I mean, wish it were better, but that's not looking too good. Now, it could be a fake out. You know, entirely possible it's a fake out. We break back with a roadmap line and get rocking and rolling. Entirely possible. 120. It's just, that's a cautionary thing and can lead to a bigger downside. Leave my nose itches. It's like I got cat hair in my nose. There's no cat here. Anyway, Microsoft down to the target area. Pachow. Touched it. That could be the bottom. Certainly would love to see that be the bottom, because boom, right in the middle of the target. I don't know how you get better than that. I mean, that's right there. Beautiful prime for reversal higher, break above the 618, and we'd be looking for bigger upside potential to rally to 480 to 500. It's about 100-point upside. That's like 30% upside on Microsoft right there. Microsoft. Something like that. Potential to extend it on up to 536. Not too shabby. Yeah, 30%. Look at that. 30% upside. Pretty nice. That's nice right there. Now, I'm not saying it's going to take, it's got a lot of things to work through to get up there. A lot of work to do. A lot of bullish work to do. We start by breaking higher than that high right there. Quit making lower highs. That'd be step 1. Step 2, break above that roadmap line. Step 3, remember that uptrend of lows I was talking about on Lamb Research that Microsoft broke down below right there. Got to break above that. After we get through that and that, we got to get through that and that 618 zone right there. These are our highs. It's got a lot of stuff to work through, right? Then we can get up here. So it can bounce down, and it could and probably will. Do something like that. Lots of chop. They did lots of chop on the way down. Careful out there. And AAL. Marking our lines. Like I said, Goose gonna have to find him a new job. So we break down below 8. It's not no bueno. Not good. And I just skipped the chat. Gosh darn it. Google. Potential to find a bottom. Not very confident in this being a bottom. Not a high confidence. This just one giant down with that one little blip. Doesn't give me high confidence on the correction. It's possible that this correction actually started here. This went a little too enthusiastic up, and now we're possibly coming into a flat, a bottom of a flat right there. It's possible. It could be. It's kind of what you call running flat when you get a higher B wave and a higher C wave, which could be potentially bullish. Maybe. Maybe. Makes it difficult to try to guess the next move, though. We'd at least be looking at this if we get above this and this and that prior high. That's very much like Microsoft. You got to get above that high and then that high and that roadmap line and that 618. And there was no other consolidation in here. So once you get above the 618, it's kind of free sailing. And then extensions 241, 283 potential. Yeah. Not ALB. Where's the bottom? I don't know. Still got downside targets that aren't hit yet. Maybe down to 63. And I'm not calling a bottom. I don't have any confidence in ALB. DDOG. That broke down below. It didn't close down there. It poked out and then quickly reversed back in. I really would like to see that come down here, though, at this point. That sets up the bigger bounce potential. We do that. Worst case scenario would be 248, but the bullish case scenario would be 461. That'd be 4.5x potential. Not quite the 5x, but strong nonetheless. ABT. I bought laboratories. Touch the target. Probably working on a retrace at this point. Somewhere here would be my expectation. Not high probability. Just my expectation. Yeah. If it does that, sets up for that. Potential breakouts. Don't like that proportion. Man. Why is it gotta be so muddy? This pattern right here is very muddy because this is the first move right here. First move, second move. This is the third move right here. And it stopped right at a point where it can be bearish and go lower low. That's why I don't like this. potential. Yeah, because this could easily push right back down in this zone right there. Doesn't have to go, like this one doesn't have to make a lower low, but could just make a double bottom. That's the unsure on that one. Sorry. I know. I wish it was better. So many charts are just not clear, not clean. I get excited about some, but like this one, look at that perfect extension to that 1448, and then perfect rejection. Boom, bounced off the roadmap line. Extension lower. Where are we going next? That's a good question. Let's take a look. That looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. My gosh, that's almost perfect. That low, that high, that low. Oh, came up just a little shy of perfect. Pretty close. So if that's 5 up, which looks like 5 up, pretty darn close to perfect proportion there. That would be 5 complete. The only problem here, this would look better if 5 went on up here somewhere, but maybe the problem is log mode. Yeah. So I'd watch for, it's not log mode, the problem. Watch for a bottom right in this vicinity of this bottom of this 4, somewhere around 30. Then we could go on to the next move. Next move for DKNG. Potential for 97, which is from 30 to 97. That's like a 3x and change. And 2.6x. Yeah. Nice potential. Nice potential, but we got a little bit further downside to potentially go right down here. And let's see. Well, we hit the downside target. We got, looks like the bubble pattern. Probably going to come back to the bottom. Not going to surprise me to pull that right on down. Maybe not seeing why I call that the bubble pattern. Put in log mode, see what the difference is. Yeah, so we can change it to log mode. See a little more clarity, and it might find support around 26. See how that chart changed drastically, right? Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, potential 3. Yep. Somewhere in that 26 to 30 zone. Right there. Be what I expect on Etsy. It's like magic. Kava. And let's turn off my drawing tool. Back to a daily chart. So on log mode, we need a little bit lower to get to that ideal bounce points, the bigger upside potential. Right there's where we want to see a hold. Now, if we just bounce from where we are, potential, but not the greatest, might get up to like 700. It's pretty wild. Pretty wild. It might stall short though. Might only get to like 300. Now, if we could pull on down, that would give the much more likelihood that we get up to like 1,000 on the upside. The deeper they retrace, the more power they have to get to these higher levels. Now, it's entirely possible, though, that this is not log mode, and we already hit the 618, and we're working on the bounce, and we're only going to go to that kind of number, 300. Right there. So if we start breaking off bullish, that's what we're looking at right there. We do the bigger correction on the log mode scale. Be looking at more power to the upside. It's Kava for you. All right. I did BC. You aren't a channel member, so hit channel members first. If you don't understand channel members, it's okay. And hog is consolidating at the bottom. Potential 618 bounce. God, that took forever to get back down here. So I've been stalking this potential retrace since we did the bounce during COVID. Just throwing that out there. I've been watching this one for a long time. It doesn't have a big move potential is the problem. I mean, 25 to 186. That's pretty good, but we might stall out in this area though, because when you zoom out, that's the prior highs. That gets me concerned. That was the high in 2006. That was the high 2014. We haven't been able to shoot back up in that zone since then. I mean, if we could break out, it's a big if. We could be 186. Just not sure on that one yet. I'll probably miss this one. I probably won't. I just probably won't get into this because it's too much non-clarity on this pattern. The likelihood we stop dead cold right there, it's pretty high. And then spend more time shopping. Man, it's an upside potential of, almost 2x, but I like the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9x much better. All right, that's hog for you. And BOH. Potential bounce off the roadmap line on the 3-day. Sitting under the roadmap line on the 1-day. Resistance at the prior high right there. That's 76 area. You get above that, potential to extend it to 85 to 88, but wouldn't expect giant upside there. We're gonna come back into those, almost like hog. We got these long-term highs sitting right there. that you'll probably go bounce off of if you're going to try to break out. It's got Sparky. It'll probably reject off of that before it can break out. SBOH, Lululemon. Oh, back down in the 618s. That's cruising on down pretty swiftly here. Not what I want to see. We have to hold this 786 line. If we don't hold that, can very easily go down to 200 and reset the whole count. This is the line in the sand right here. I've got an alert right there. Looking for that to hold in that vicinity. If we don't hold, that's a bigger correction right there. Ching, ching, ching. You can see the first move down, the retrace to a lower high, next move down, and potential to drop right in there. Like that. So that's kind of what we're working with. Either it's going to bounce here. If it doesn't bounce, that's what we're working with. And then we can look for the bounce. But there's also the bigger potential that this goes on down to this 618, which is way on down here at 115, 120. That would be vicious right there to extend that on down. So it doesn't even have to bounce here. Could come down here. Rough. It doesn't have to come back at all. Like that's the whole thing. And GDX, we're at the target, so no more upside for now. That was it. Watch for retrace. Back down. That's why I've been cautious on gold. And another reason I bailed on NEMs, GDX hitting target. So Ultra GDX has not been able to break out. Sometimes the 3x leverage doesn't allow it to get the extension. So when I talk about leverage products, not always hitting the targets, not always doing the patterns. Prime example right here where the GDX hit the upside target. This came up shy, and we might be setting up for a retrace. There. Pins. Pinterest. Just chopping sideways. Not really. There's no trend here. Might go lower. That high, that low, that high. Yeah. So it's cleaning it up so we can see what I'm working with here. Just to provide clarity. We're talking about this high, that low, that high. That provides this target right here to the downside. See that little guy poking down below there? That's what gives me cautionary warning, danger. If that flushes on down, that's where I would expect it to go to, right there, around 24. There's always the possibility that was a fake out and we go higher. Right now the upside 42 to 44, but we're gonna have to get above that 36, and the 36 doesn't look like it's in the right spot. But it would look a lot better if we were down here. So yeah, be careful on that one. CCJ, hunt for the bottom, I'm sure. Yeah. Not going to be full of wonderful news at the moment. That looks done on that move. Where did it start? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. It started right here. That provides a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a intermediate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in there. Yeah. And that's the first move down. Probably looking for a bottom around 31. That breakout level. Back to retest the breakout level. Right there. That's what I would expect on CCJ right now. Mara. Not moving. Boom, look at that target. Holy fudge muffin. Could be a bottom. Boom. Sometimes. I mean, I was not trading for the downside. I just drew that as a clear-headed target on the downside. We got it. Resistance to the upside is right here. Coming down swiftly. They're going to have to break back above the downtrend highs. Right in that $13 to $14 area to get the upside. Bitcoin turning is the only thing that's going to turn this one around. Got to see Bitcoin break back above the daily roadmap line and get to new highs. Otherwise, tomorrow is probably just going to fade into the abyss with a lot of the other crypto miners. We're seeing Citigroup holding at the roadmap line. There's the high. This is the low. Run the fib line between them. Come up with the 618 resistance. Right there at the gap down at 77. Logical resistance. If we get above that 77 level, we'd be looking for 87 on the upside target right there. It's a simple roadmap line bounce pattern. If it breaks down below the low, looking for the deeper retrace probably to 57 on the downside. And Meta still hunting the bottom. That could potentially bounce anywhere here. This has a bigger upside potential to like the 960 area. Resistance at 660. Resistance at 769, 800, 880, and then target at 960. The bigger picture. And it may ping pong around these levels to get up there. Just like it did over here. All right. TPR and Tapestry. Coming back for the roadmap line after making that big, crazy move. Could come all the way back down in the $50 area. PayPal, on the bottom. Maybe it was a 618 bounce. Maybe that was very 5 downish. Be very, very, very cautious. If we break down below that 618, I had this target on here for years, hanging out at 42. That's where I thought we were going to retrace to. We got below that level up there. We got down to 50, 8 points shy of 42. I drew this a long time ago. So we're either going to bounce here and get a pretty powerful move up. Or if we don't hold supports, we're going to flush it down pretty hard. So upside is this resistance right up here. $175. 140 to 175. How do you know it's going to do it? Break back above that high right there. Break back above that roadmap line right there. And it tips the odds that we're going on up. And then we got to break above that high. Got to break above that high. Got to continue through that high. And then we could potentially get up there. There you go. There you go. TDD still high on the bottom. Line in the sand here at 50. If we get below it, we're probably coming down to 30 on TTD. NVDA. NVDA, put the fingers on the right key. There's the levels. That was a lower low. That low, kilos, kilos and kilos. It rejected off of this. It didn't even touch the roadmap line for going for an extension. 97.50, 88, and possibly we drop the soap in the shower in the prison. Might take a trip down to 70. Maybe $1 trillion come off on NVIDIA if we do that. $1 trillion move right there. UPS has been pretty horrible. Still looks pretty horrible. No bottom in sight. No end to the grind down. This may come back to the lows from right back here. Apparently losing your biggest customer is not very conducive to your stock doing better. Watch that one. And RTX. Probably hit the target already. It's probably why it's not on here. Yep. Possibly 138. Back to the roadmap line will be what I expect. Right there. All right. And EQT. And we hit that 56 resistance, retrace back. Might be able to push it up to 61. Right there. Retrace again, maybe push it up to there. 76. Maybe. If we reject down below the roadmap line, just probably just come back into this consolidation. Sideways consolidation for years here. Trying to break out, but seen this before where it just fades back down to the bottom. All right, Huts. Here's not looking very good. I have to say, I'm suspicious. So we've got this uptrend on lows right here. We've held this before, but it hasn't really developed into much. It's possible to get a higher high. The last bounce down here got us back up to the 1272. This one a little bigger. Could take us to 41, maybe. It's gonna have to break through the roadmap line, through the 618, through the prior high to get that move. I've been skeptical of this one ever since they did the reverse split back here. And that's not a, it's not a channel. It's in a wedge. It's a very narrow, tight wedge, but it's in a wedge. These two will eventually meet out here. That might be all she can do. If it's going to stay in there, and if it breaks down, let's say, uh-oh. If it breaks out, that'd be a good upside. So, I don't like it. The problem here is that reverse split right there for me. That puts it in the danger zone as a dumpster fire category. Cheesecake Factory. It's been a big sideways slog. Has not been able to break through this high right up here at 66. Just hasn't been able to without getting a bigger rejection like that. So watch out for a small pop and a big drop on Cheesecake Factory. And Netflix, last but not least, just grinding out here. Held the 618 retrace. We get the extension. Next move up potentially to 1158. Maybe even the bigger upside move. 1700 would be the. So we came up, hit the 1448, kind of sat there, then rallied up to the 1272. Retraced back to the roadmap line. Next move up, maybe retrace. Next move up, maybe retrace. Next move up. Maybe. There you go. How fast? Shoot, man, this has been just cruising along. Could be looking at a long time here. So that low back there to that high right there. And you could be looking at maybe June before we get up in that area, that target zone. Maybe on out here. Late in the year to be up there. There you go. IP, last one. And it's sitting on the roadmap line and might bounce. Resistance. Such a nasty price action right there. Very staticky. So we have resistance at 56. You can get above it, stick the landing, potential upside, but that's lower high. If we break down below this low, we're looking at a bigger correction. So look at that. We're hitting our head on that long-term high that I've identified on so many charts today. So watch out for that. This goes all the way back to 97 on international paper. We just haven't been able to break through, and we're right there at it. So that's every time we've tried, we've gotten a big rejection. So big rejection would be what I would expect, because this has a 30-year history of big rejections. So be careful out there. Remember, the money that you save may be your own money if you protect it. All right, nobody's watching out for your account but you. Let's face it. Nobody cares more than you do, so nobody's watching out more than you do for your own well-being and your own retirement. See you in the morning. I'll be back live 9:15 tomorrow morning. Same bad time, same bad channel as every day. We'll see you in the morning for Tariff Day. Happy Tariff Eve, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.